This was a fun project using some redwood from the Northern California Mendocino coast. Actually, an old redwood stump that I dug out of the wood pile and from my childhood home. But you could kind of see that it was beautiful. So I spent a little bit of time trimming her up so that she'd fit into the mold. Nothing fancy there. I just used a bucket to put it in. Has had a lot of rotting in the middle, which is, in my opinion, really kind of cool because the resin will slide into those little nooks and crannies. So got her all in there, and then started to have a few pondering thoughts. So here's my dilemma. Got this old growth redwood sitting around long enough that the sapwood is all rotted away, and some beautiful grain to it. Rotted out in the middle, which I thought was kind of cool actually, to be able to put some epoxy in there. So, but I've got this, it was obviously in the ground like this, and the root ball down here and the trunk of the tree here. But if I put that in the bucket like so, I'm gonna waste a lot of epoxy filling that up. That's probably just gonna get cut out when I put it on the lathe. Or same thing down here, I'm gonna have to fill in all this area with the epoxy to level it out. So if I turn it with a big base on the bottom, then I'm gonna end up cutting out most of this wood up here. If I do it the other way, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of epoxy down here and gonna end up cutting away at all that epoxy there. So not sure what to do. Gonna stare at it a little bit and figure it out. Okay, I think I figured it out. So it took 3 days staring at this piece of wood, but I was totally perplexed on how, since it's hollowed out on the inside and this end's tapered down small, how to do the epoxy work and have this actually work. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna glue this this piece of plywood on here so I can attach a faceplate and start to turn it around, and maybe that'll help. And that just didn't feel right because the inside is still hollow and this side's still tapered down. So totally different direction. I'm gonna cut this off and I'm gonna trim this up so that it's going into the mold sideways. That way, the epoxy will fill in the sides, this will fill in, and I'll still get a lot of this beautiful redwood. So maybe, maybe not. Let's check it out. Well, so far so good. Looks like we got her trimmed up. She'll go into the mold. Just drop right in there so that the epoxy will come in from the side and we'll still get that redwood. So gotta clean some of this older wood up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to do some epoxy work. Once I got all the initial loose pieces of bark from the outside, I went ahead and dropped her into our mold, aka the bucket, and decided to use this deep pour epoxy because it does get down there pretty deep in there. So I needed something that would cure slowly. It takes about 72 hours. So I mixed that up. It's 2-to-1 ratio with this Upstart epoxy, which is one of my favorites, and I'd already planned on it, but that went forward with the black mica powder for the color, which I've seen that against redwood before, and it's just beautiful. So got that in there, got that poured in, and then it was time to set her in the pressure pot. So threw a quick little torch for the bubbles on top on there, and then sealed her up in the pressure pot. Goes pressures it up, and that reduces the bubble size, so it eliminates any noticeable bubbles. And then, well, 72 hours later, came out of the mold with a little bit of banging around. Looks like it filled in all those nooks and crannies quite well. Can't even see the redwood in there, so ended up using nearly a gallon of resin for this. So quite a bit. And it became time to start slowly but surely trimming her down. Slow, steady, even passes, going back and forth. Don't really know when you're turning something like this the shape you're going to go with until it starts trimming down. You see how the wood's reacting to the resin and such. So just gonna work our way through it and see where she goes. As the exterior began to take a shape that I was happy with, and it seemed to be working well with the combination of the redwood and the resin, went ahead and filled in some of the small little spots in there with some brown CA glue with some accelerator to help fill in a few of the chunky spots there. But the shape turned out very nice, and it was now time to start working on the inside of the base. Rough shape now completed on the exterior of the base and the interior. Started using some of my sanding pads, which help smooth out that surface. Time for a little bit more CA glue, and we find a few spots here and there. That's one of my go-to ways of not having to sand the thing all the way down to nothing to get those little spots out of there. So, and then a little bit more sanding here and there on the inside and the outside to get it to the shape and the smoothness that I'm happy with. You can see this redwood looks pretty light in these shots, but you'll see when the finish time comes that turns into, well, redwood, beautiful. So I decided to go with a tongue oil finish for this. I've done that before with numerous other projects and works great with the epoxy and the redwood. Unfortunately, what I found with this is even after 3 coats, it still was soaking into that redwood, so it was kind of a tough one for me. So decided to go a little different route and then sand that down a little bit and go with some Rubio Monocoat, which uses very little but provides a nice even satin type finish. So rub that on there, let it sit there for about 15 minutes or so, and then you start buffing it out, and it comes out beautiful. And the final result with this old growth redwood tree stump and the black epoxy resin turned out pretty well. Never had done the Rubio Monocoat over some tung oil, but I think the finish was pretty beautiful. So, and that the grain on that old redwood is, just can't beat it. So I'm glad I ended up doing it and turning it sideways to get the best of both worlds. So, and the sheen turned out good. So there's the final result. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.